How would you describe the underlying causes of the recent volatility in the U.S. economy?
Thanks for having me on, Diego. I would say that the primary cause of the volatility that we are experiencing can be stated in two phenomena. A high degree of inequality and also a very high degree of private debt, which is at 142% of GDP. Households and businesses are in debt. And that sort of debt level creates weaknesses in consumer spending and investment spending.
I see, and we're also talking a lot about tariffs. You know, they're at the center of that. They're kind of a center stage. Do you see long-term effects in the U.S. labor markets, consumer prices, other variables?
Well, I was very hopeful that they would be very short-lived. As Trump is negotiating deals, the EU being the most recent, I'm not very optimistic that they will be as short-lived as I was hoping, that they might be political motivated, which they are. But if he leaves them in place, the long-term effect will be, in my opinion, extremely detrimental to not only the U.S. economy and U.S. households and consumers, but internationally and globally.
And Hans, this week we spoke a lot about unemployment, obviously. It remains low, yet consumer confidence seems to be faltering. What explains this disconnect?
Well, the newest consumer confidence that came out today is a little bit of an uptick, which is the good news. The bad news is, historically, the Michigan consumer sentiment runs about, is an index number, but it's usually 80 or 90. It's down at 60. So it's very low, Diego, as you point out. Unemployment is low at 4.2%. But if you include part-time workers that want full-time work and also people that are working jobs that don't meet their degree attainment, that number goes up, the U6 measure, to 8% unemployment, which is, quite high. But the real problem is 25% of Americans, whether they're working for full-time or not, make less than $25,000 a year. 25%. So that's kind of a functional unemployment number that might be up around 24%. So, and that's why, Biden's administration couldn't process those, good economic numbers that they had, and why Americans were so upset with the administration. Trump's in the same situation now.
And Hans, how does the current wave of protectionism affect these households in the lower end of the income spectrum?
It's devastating, because that's where you're going to see, tariff is nothing but a tax. So those are the people that, as a percentage of their income, are going to pay the highest percentage of their income to those tariff taxes in all kinds of different goods, from agricultural and energy and beyond.
And Hans, I want to leverage your expertise in crisis theory. How do you see recent economic swings? Do they signal structural instability or cyclical adjustments? How do you analyze that?
I think it's secular stagnation. That is to say, the economy may grow, but it does not grow evenly for the demographics. So some people participate in the economic growth, but I would say about 60% of Americans do not participate in any increase in economic growth. 80% of Americans have the same, their household income is the same as it is, that it was in 1973 when adjusted from inflation. 80% of Americans have the same household income adjusted for inflation that it was in 1973. And there's been, the economy's grown by about 200%. So that's a very serious drag on the U.S. economy.
Hans Despain, thank you very much. Great having you.